Hello, and welcome to Crafting Inspirations. I'm Joanne, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Newfoundland, Canada. I love to connect, inspire, and motivate new and exciting possibilities through stamping. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell for any future videos that I do. Today's stamp set, I'm going to be using the Ornate Thanks and the dies Ornate border dies. Actually, I will be using the stamp set and the dies for the month of August. So for the next 5 Sundays, I will be doing a different card using this bundle. This bundle can be found on page 66 of the Stampin' Up's annual catalog. It is quite beautiful. The order number for the Ornate Thanks is 149471. And the order number for the dies, the border dies, is 152724. However, you can purchase this as a bundle and get both the stamp set and the dies. And the bundle is $63. And the order number for that one is 154115. So if you enjoyed this video today, you can certainly reach to me if you're in Canada and get your stamp set and dies ordered up, and you can follow along in my future videos and replicate the card that I will be making during this month of August. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and we'll get started. So here's the stamp set. The Ornate Thanks. It consists of 3 large fonts of thank you, so grateful, and thanks, and it consists of 16 tiny sentiments that can correspond with these larger ones. This stamp set consists of 19 pieces, and it's a photopolymer stamp set. You can see through, so you can see where your already previously stamped image, and if you were to use the sentiments next to it, you can see where you stamp. And this is the dies, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss dies. So it consists of 9 pieces. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a couple already out, and then there's some flowers that corresponds. So stay tuned for future videos in August for showing how to use these on a card. So this one, like I said, this consists of 9 dies. And here's the page if you don't have a catalog. And if you live in Canada, you can certainly reach out to me and I can mail you a catalog. You can reach out to me through craftinginspirations@outlook.com, or you can get in touch with me through my Facebook page, which is Joanne's Crafting Inspirations. So I just wanted to go over the stamp set. If you were to purchase the stamp set by itself, is $24. And if you were to buy the dies, I'm not quite sure how much the dies is separately, but if you buy them together, you get saves 10% off, and the bundle is $63, so that you get the dies and the stamp set. It's quite a beautiful stamp set. It could be used for many different thank you cards. So I'm just going to close up the catalog and get that out of the way, and I'm going to move these away and we'll get started with the card. So I've got 5 cards planned for the month of August, like I said, and they're all going to be different colors. So our color of choice today is Pretty Peacock, and that measures 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5.5. This is our base card, so it's going to fold this way. So I'm just going to take our bone folder and score it down so it stays flat. Then I've got a couple of pieces of Whisper White that measures 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So that one is for here, for in front, and one is for the inside of our card. And now this is one of the dies that I spoke about. So I'm just going to take out the little white spaces, and this is going to be for the inside of our card. So I'm just going to lay that aside for now. Then I got a piece of Pretty Peacock, and I cut that at 5 1/4 by 4, and I ran this through our die cutting machine, and I used this die. And you want to be careful when you're using this die if you're going to cut your paper. I'm just going to remove it. On one side of the dies is a straight, well, not a straight line, but it's one complete solid line. So this is where your paper would be cut off to. And over here is just around the leaves and the flowers. So you want to make sure when you put this die down that just the leaves and the flowers is towards the portion that you cut. Don't want cut. And the one with the solid line going across the bottom is down on the bottom of your piece. If you turn it the other way, it will cut it off completely, and you would be left with only a small piece of paper. So now that that is done, I'm just going to take Stampin' Up's Take Your Pick tool. It's a great tool. I believe it's $13. It can be found in the annual catalog. And it has a point, a spatula, and it has some stylus pins. And it also comes with a little sticky residue up above here for picking up your rhinestones and that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to use the pointy tip, and I'm just going to punch out the pieces, the negatives. And now the Take Your Pick tool, you can also buy a brush, which I don't have yet. And it's great for when you're using it on your dies. It removes the paper much quicker and easier. So I'm just going to poke these out with the pick. So it's just going to take me a second to do. And you'll see why I'm poking these out now in a second. I do have this card almost completed, so that I wouldn't show you because it's not 100% done. When I designed the card, I was at a friend's house that I needed some ribbon, and I didn't have any ribbon with me. So I'm just discarding the little pieces that was left that I poked through, like confetti. So there we go. So with the Whisper White underneath, what we're going to do is we're going to seal down the Whisper White, and we're going to lay this up on top like so. Now I'm going to cut this a little bit more because I want the large thank you to fit on the bottom. So I'm just going to take out the large thank you. And I'm just going to lay it down onto my grid paper. And don't you love the colors, the new in colors? This is Bumblebee. This is Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Misty Moonlight, and Cinnamon Cider. So it's beautiful colors that the Stampin' Up has come up with. So what I'm doing with this is I'm just lining up the top of the letters to the line, to one of the lines on the grid paper, so that we know it's straight onto our pad. So now before we nail this down, I'm going to take our Whisper White, and I'm going to get Pretty Peacock ink pad, and this is in colors for 2019 to 2021. It's a beautiful color. So I'm just going to ink up the thank you. And I'm just going to put it down and use my grid paper once again. And I'm just going to lay this down in the middle towards the bottom. And now, where this is a foldable polymer stamp set, you want to leave it there so that the ink sits into your paper. So isn't that beautiful? I love the font on this this set. So, and then that is it. So we can take our Stampin Seal. It's a new adhesive that Stampin' Up has. And this one was broken, so I fixed it. So I just got to I just got to advance it a little bit. There we go. And the best way is to flick it this with your wrist. And now we're just going to leave a margin of a border around all 4 sides, like so. And you want to burnish that down. And before we go any further, I'm just going to take this little piece. I'm going to close up the pretty peacocks so I don't damage any of my paper. I'm just going to cut 1/8 of an inch away from our paper. And I noticed that it was a little bit slanted. So I'm just going to turn it so my pieces are like so that it should look straight when I lay it down on my card. I had it lined up perfectly on the die cutting machine, but every time I put the plate down it moved. So now what we want to do now is take a Versamark, and Versamark is a watermark stamp pad, but it's also sticky. It's more of a sticky of a stamp, which is great for when you use embossing powder. So I'm using Stampin' Emboss powder, and it's going to be white to correspond with the Whisper white that's below. So now I'm going to grab the sentiment from the bottom of my heart, and I'm just going to lay that down on my grid paper once again, because it's better when you're using photopolymer stamp sets. It's best that you lay it down and then adhere it to your block like so, because if you put it on with your hands it might be a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to lay it down so it's straight. I'm going to take the embossing buddy and just go over my paper. And what this does, there's powder inside, and it removes any static from the paper so that when we pour the Stampin' Emboss powder onto it, it's going to come off easily and only stick to the wording that we have. So I'm just going to ink it up, my sentiment. Make sure I got it covered fairly well. And I'm going to line up my paper with the grid paper. And I'm just going to come up and stamp and pull up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this up because I don't want any powder getting in there. And that's my dog up in the window. And then I'm just going to pour some of the powder onto the wording. And I'm going to flick away any excess. And I'm going to bring out Stampin' Up's Eat tool. And I'm going to let it warm up, so there's going to be a little bit of noise. So this is a great tool for when you're doing anything with embossing. It has 2 settings, one for drawing and one for embossing. So this is the first level, and this is the second level. So it's a little bit louder, and you want it to warm up a little bit. And you're just going to go over your wording that you had just laid there with your Versamark and your powder. So I'm just going to bring it up to the camera so that you can see how it starts to shine. So it's starting to turn there now. And there you go. And then what that does, it kind of raises your sentiment up a little bit and gives it a bit of shine. Now you don't want to leave your heat tool on there too long because it can burn the powder. So now the next step is I'm getting some ribbon, and I'm going to attach it to the back of my card front, and I'm just going to use a bit of seal. Like so. And then I'm just going to bring out my ribbon and my bow maker. This is quite an easy tool. It's just done with some chipboard, and it's cut with an 1/2 inch in the middle, and this is probably 1/2 inch. You can get wider if you want your ribbons to be a little bit wider. So I'm just going to bring this out and take my ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap it around, and I'm going to do it twice. And then I'm just going to untwist and come up. And then I'm just going to cut some of this ribbon. And then what we want to do, so that there's no twists into it, is bring it up through the bottom. And then we're just going to tie it with the piece that we were holding on to. Tie a knot. That's my dog, everyone. And I'm just going to make a double knot. And then when you've got that done, I'm just going to fix up the middle a little bit. And then you're just going to pull it off. And if you want, you can pull one little bit. Usually doesn't take that long to do. I'm just trying to grab the loop that's underneath and bring it up a little bit. There we go. Like on this side. I think she's got her frustrations worked out there now. And then I'm just going to bring this down, and I'm going to snip off the ends. So I want it on a little bit of an angle. And then I'm just going to put the bow in the middle. And I learned from another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, it's best to put your ribbon down with the tear-away tape. Tear-away tape is a strong adhesive, which I can't seem to get it up right now. There we go. And you just lay it in the middle, and you tear it away. So now I'm just going to take your pick tool once again, and there's a paper backing on the tear-away tape that you need to remove. And take a pick tool is a great tool for picking that up. And I'm just going to lay the ribbon or the bow on top, like so. So make sure it's adhered pretty good. There we go. And now I'm just going to pop this up with Stampin' Up's Dimensionals. So I'm just going to lay a few around, and I'm putting some over on the ribbon there. And I'm going to put a couple that's close to the border. So we want the border to punch up a little bit. So that should be enough. So then I'm just take a pick tool and taking the backing off. And one more. There we go. And now we're just going to leave a front border up on top and on the sides. And we're just going to make sure all the dimensionals is stuck down. I'm just going to move this away. So that's the front of our card completed. Now, isn't that a little pretty thank you card? So now for the inside, remember I had shown you a piece that I had the die with the scallop edge. So that too, I'm going to punch out the little remainder white pieces. It's like little confetti. There we go. And now we're going to stamp. We're going to stamp onto our Whisper White. I'm going to use Your Kindness is So Loved. So I'm going to use this. Your kindness is so loved. So I'm just going to bring out, flip this over, line it up, and bring out the pretty peacock once again. And let's stamp that up in the middle. And let's seal this down. So this is our card completed. And if you want to, you can, if you had some pretty peacock ribbon, you could even put a little piece down here. So that is our card. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm just going to flip the camera around one more time. Now, wasn't that a beautiful little card? Remember, for the month of August, I will be using the Ornate Thanks and the Ornate border dies on my cards. So if you liked the stamp set, you can certainly order it up through me. And you can do so through my Facebook or through my webpage. And that is joannjohnson.stampinup.net. So that's JOANNJOHNSON.stampinup.net. And you can do any previous or any future cards that I do using the stamp set and dies. I want to say thank you for watching, and remember to hit the subscribe button if you like this video and the bell for notifications of my future videos. I just want to say thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.